First order of business is I believe we have someone signed up for public testimony. Mrs. Hempel, are you here? Thank you. Please come forward. Please, if you would, keep your remarks to 5 minutes.
I would.
And we would appreciate it. Thank you.
I would too. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm a resident and homeowner in Texas. I'm also the wife of an engineer, the mother of 2 licensed PEs with graduate degrees, mother of an engineering student, and the grandmother of what I know to be at least one future engineer. I do have a vested interest in the engineering profession and where it's heading in the state of Texas. The first person in my life that showed us that interest and helped us to pursue that road was my father. He was a wonderful man and a lifetime devotee of the petroleum industry, which was mentioned yesterday. He was president of Shell Pipeline, chairman of the board of Plantation Pipeline prior to his death, and he was slated to run for Railroad Commission back in the 90s. The one thing about my father was that he, throughout his career, in spite of his position, he remained a man of considerable honor and integrity. And even when there were things that might have helped him personally or the company, he would not sacrifice that integrity for any reason. And at the end of his life, he was extremely proud that throughout his career that he remained true to who he was. Mr. Bennett and a couple of the board members, unfortunately these other people are probably sick of hearing from me. In the past couple of days I've testified in front of the licensing and the enforcement committee. And I just want to recap real basically what I said to them was that I think you have the Engineering Practices Act, which is even out in the lobby, and you have the Sunset Commission recommendations. And my personal experience and my husband's in the past 2 years is that those are not being followed. I don't think they're worth the paper they're written on now. As far as the licensing committee was concerned, we discovered that a past executive director granted a license to someone who's harmed us and others considerably, even though that person, in my opinion, did not pass the exam, according to the NCEES, did not pass the exam. With regard to enforcement, we've been through 2 years of hell in that respect, and I feel that the enforcement committee's duty was to follow the rules, investigate, resolve complaints alleging illegal and incompetent practice, and to enforce the Engineering Practices Act. But again, we have mounds of evidence that wasn't done, and that 2-year process was an absolute nightmare. And in fact, I'd like to recommend that perhaps the board hire a consumer advocate or a public-friendly person to make sure that that the purpose of the Board of Engineers, which is to protect the public, not to protect engineers. This isn't an engineering society or fraternity. There are several of those out there that do that. Your function is to protect the public, and in that respect, I'm not seeing that happen as well. So, let's see. We proved conclusively that an engineer who himself admits that he's not qualified lied in our arbitration and then proceeded to lie in the informal conference that was held in this very room. He has not only hurt us, but he's hurt many, many others, including, in a roundabout way, I think caused several deaths from cancer, instant death from a heart attack. These arbitrations that he's going into and lying seem to he lies on behalf of builders to allow them to get out of situations that they want to get out of. He's kind of the go-to guy in Texas in that respect. And so he, even with that, I spoke with I was speaking with a reporter last week and I wanted to relate what he said. He said that the Board of Engineers has become a vehicle to take the place of the TRCC. Does not surprise me and seems perfectly plausible. And I would be the last one to have believed that this is true, but from my personal experiences in the past 2 years, I had experience, 5 years, my house has been falling down. 2 years dealing with the board, I've gone through the same stuff with the TRCC, who no longer exists. And so I'm finding, if these people who were telling me that years ago that the board was becoming like this, I didn't believe them. But I've learned, and now if these people came to me and told me Martians were landing in Dallas, I would believe them, because everything they have told me is spot on. So now you get my little victim impact statement, because in 2 years of dealing with the board, we haven't been allowed to speak to anyone. I don't have a home anymore. The home we live in is unsafe, according to State Farm, and ugly, and a constant reminder of what we've been through in the past 5 years. It's no longer a place where friends and family can come and visit. It's not safe. It's no longer a place where I can take pleasure in my gift of landscaping, get out or decorating, because we can't add value to a home that isn't worth anything. We've tried to sell our home, and even the We Buy Ugly houses people don't want to touch my home. The repairs that are necessary for my home are in excess of what the home is actually worth, and that's not what they buy. My mother, who's 88 with dementia and cancer, has been forced to move here to Austin because we weren't able to relocate to Houston to take care of her. We also had to move my disabled brother to San Marcos, where we only get to see him about once a week, because there was nobody left in Houston to help with him. Pretty soon we're going to get to add foreclosure to our list of problems, because we have to walk away from our home. There's no other option. We've owned a home for 8 years, always been responsible for our home and our taxes, but there aren't bailouts for people like me who have been, taken advantage of by unethical engineers. And unlike a fire or a tornado or something of that nature, insurance doesn't cover bad building either. And we actually pray for tornadoes. And a house behind me got hit by lightning yesterday, and I told everybody I would have taken the hit for them gladly, because then my house would be repaired. There isn't a single day that we don't pray that God takes this away from us, and we didn't wish for this to happen. And I have a million other things I'd rather be doing right now. This is not my forte. But on the other hand, we're determined to take something so devastating that's happened to us and turn that into a positive. And in that respect, we feel like we're kind of on a mission to make certain that this can't happen to anyone else. I don't want anybody to have to go through what I've gone through for the past 5 years. And in that respect, I will, I'm going to take all the evidence to the DA. I'll be speaking with the Sunset Commission, but bottom line, this isn't about us. You can't help us. You can't fix this. It's about the future of engineering and about the future of the public of Texas that you're supposed to be serving. And in that respect, we're just going to continue to fight for to make sure that this doesn't happen to anybody else. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hemphill. We appreciate your comments, and I promise you that we do take those comments seriously.
Thank you.
And we'll talk about that.